Hi everyone and welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to be taking a sort of a look back at some of our favorite childhood games of the past.
Oh, okay. Look
that
back in
kind
time.
Of look back. Yes.
Not looking back behind me. Okay,
Indeed.
good.
Indeed. So let's warm up by thinking, what are our favorite memories from elementary school? And Mike just mentioned one before we started filming that brought back a lot of memories for me.
That's right. Conkers.
Yes. You guys will have no idea what this is, but there's a kind of tree. It's called a horse chestnut tree.
Yep.
It drops these green spiky balls, and when you open them, there is this kind of hard chestnut inside.
That's right.
Now, some people will eat these chestnuts.
True, yes. You can roasted chestnuts at Christmas. Very nice.
Yeah, and you can get those in Taiwan as well.
You can. There's a guy who used to be right on the Renai Circle who would always sell them.
But in the UK and in other parts of the world, you would drill a hole through the middle of one, put it in the end of a string, and use it to hit the ones other people have.
So I'd hold my conker on a string. Wow. He would hit mine with his, and the first one to break loses, obviously.
Oh, so much fun.
Now, if I hadn't gone to school in England for elementary school, I would know nothing about this because it's not something in Canada or America that kids do. It's a very British thing, but it is kind of a fun school memory.
We had a horse chestnut tree, a really big one, in the park across the road from where I lived.
Right.
So, as soon as it got to, it was usually autumn season, we would be over there looking for some real monsters to take to school, and then it's on. Just every lunch, every break, conker fights.
We had a tree at the other side of our cricket field in my school. Same thing.
Okay, so conkers is a...
When was the last time you played conkers?
Oh my God, probably I was 9 or 10 years old.
We should play again.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that is a favorite memory of a childhood game, very British about it. But what other childhood games should we talk about? Let's read through our article and find out.
Reading.
Remember these? Childhood games bring back the fun. Want to have fun with your friends? Let these childhood games take you back to a simpler time. Show that your team is mightier in Capture the Flag. This game is best with 6 people or more. Divide your group into 2 teams and have the playing area into 2 territories of equal size. Each team has a flag in their territory. To win the game, run into the other team's territory, capture their flag, and take it back to your territory. Tag enemy players in your territory to send them to your jail. If you're in jail, a fellow team member must tag you, and then run back without getting tagged. Dial up the fun with broken telephone. Everyone sits in a circle, and one person whispers a sentence to the person sitting beside them. That person then whispers it to the next person, and it continues around the circle. When it finally reaches the last person, that person announces the sentence to everyone. Errors tend to happen, so the spoken sentence is sometimes very different and very funny.
So the article begins by saying, want to have fun with your friends? Let these childhood games take you back to a simpler time. So bring up some memories. Remember the fun you had when you were kids and there was nothing else in the world but having fun and playing with your friends.
And it's funny that some of these childhood games are coming back for adults in a serious way. I saw on TV grown-up adults, very fit, fast people playing tag.
Oh, yeah.
They're chasing people around, climbing over things, going under things really fast, but it's the simple game of touch, your turn, now you have to catch me. So yeah, you don't have to be a kid to play a lot of these games. Let's look at some of them. The article says, show that your team is mightier in Capture the Flag. Oh, okay. If anyone's played those online shooting games, they often have a Capture the Flag, and you have your team and their team, and you have to grab something and stop the other team from grabbing it or capturing that flag. And this, of course, will show that you and your whole team are very mighty. This adjective mighty, or to use the other form mightier, means powerful or more powerful, mightier. So if something is mighty, we say it's very powerful. That gorilla is very mighty, or the guy's been working out at the gym. Look at his mighty muscles, or of course, Mighty Mouse. The old cartoon, right? A little mouse, but he could lift up buildings and, fight monsters and things like that. Because he was powerful, he was mighty. For example, weighing more than 6,000 kilograms, the Asian elephant is a mighty animal. Yeah, it can rip trees out of the ground with its nose.
Okay.
It's pretty amazing.
So what is this game? It's Capture the Flag. Now let's look at the word capture. So the word capture means to go and get something, a piece of equipment. It could be an area. You've got to go and get that thing that belongs to your enemy and make it yours. You could capture equipment, get this flag, bring it back. Capture a base, get into their base, make it yours. You could capture a person. The police always try to capture criminals and stop them from getting away. If you capture the enemy army's general, you make him your prisoner. Now he's yours. Here's an example we can use with a surprise attack. The soldiers captured their enemy's base. So, you've got to get this flag, we know that, but how does the game work?
Okay, well, for this game, you do need a good number of people. As the article says, this game is best with 6 people or more, all right? So that would be the total number. You'd have 6 people, but of course, you'd have to have teams. Yeah, if you just did it with 2, it would be you and me fighting over a flag. That wouldn't be very much fun.
Okay, so how does it work? Well, you divide your group into 2 teams.
Okay, 3 and 3.
Yep, and halve the playing area into 2 territories of equal size.
Okay.
So there's a lot of splitting things in 2 here, and there's different verbs we can use for that. Divide A into B is the first one. Separate a whole something into equally sized parts. Now, you could say divide the pizza into 6 slices, or 8 slices, or 12 slices. So this one with divide and adding the A into B, you've got a lot more freedom about how many parts you're dividing something into. Whereas the word halve has a different meaning.
That's true. Well, it would be like divide 1 into 2. That's basically what we're doing. But it's a very simple kind of math, so we don't have to say divide something into something. We often use that expression for slightly different numbers. Divide 1 into 3 or something. Halve is 1 into 2. So basically, cut it down the middle. 50% here, 50% there. That's all we're doing. A lot of people might do this with a sandwich. For example, eating a half a pizza might be kind of hard, but if you have half a sandwich, that's a very easy thing to pick up and eat. Half would be the noun, a half, and halve is to cut in half. For example, divide something into 2, from 1 to 2, or 100% to 50 and 50.
Okay, so you've got 2 teams, you've got 2 territories, and of course, each team has a flag in their territory.
I see. Okay, so 2 flags. We got to get theirs, they got to get ours. To win the game, run into the other team's territory, capture their flag, and take it back to your territory. Pretty simple.
Simple enough. But, so what happened? Well, how can you stop them, the other team?
True. And what if they capture your flag? Can you try to get it back?
Yeah. Is this just a question of running? No, it's not. It's a bit more complicated than that. Let's read on to find the next part of the rule. So, you can stop the other team from capturing your flag. How do you do this? The article says, tag enemy players in your territory to send them to your jail. So you've got a jail area. If you tag or touch someone, or when I was growing up, we called it dob. If you dobbed somebody, we called it dobby, or dobbe in my native accent. And if you touch them, they go to your jail. Now, what's a jail? It's kind of like a prison. Prison is where people go to after they've had the court case and the judges finish the case and they send them to prison. Jail is more like where they have to go while the trial is still going on, before all the charges are done. It's often in and around a police station rather than a separate building, and people would stay in jail for a shorter amount of time until they're either released or they have the court case and go to a real prison. For example, Justin spent the night in jail after he was arrested for drunk driving. Okay, so what if I get tagged and I'm in jail? What happens?
Well, big trouble. No, not that much big trouble. If you're in jail, a fellow team member must tag you and then run back without getting tagged. So they basically come and rescue you or break you out of jail. So I can come over, touch you, and if we can both get back to our half, our territory, then you're back in the game.
Okay, and you need a fellow player to do that.
Exactly. A fellow player would be a teammate, someone on your team. A fellow is kind of an equal, someone who is part of your group or part of your class or someone who has a lot in common with you or something like that. For example, Janice and her fellow classmates met at the library to prepare for their test. So Janet and the other classmates, the other students in her class, her fellow classmates.
Yeah, we are fellow teachers.
We are fellow presenters here, yes.
Okay, so that is Capture the Flag. Let's now go on to our next game. The article introduces it by saying, dial up the fun with broken telephone.
Oh,
okay.
Classic game.
Yeah, it's got a few different names, this one, but what does the phrase dial up mean? Well, it's got two meanings, so it's being kind of used as a joke. To dial up someone could mean to just dial them on an old phone where there were dials, and we still use it to mean call someone. But it can also mean to increase something, like with a volume. You dial it, it's got a dial, you turn up the volume.
So dial is that round thing that you turn to control a machine. So dial up or dial down.
Yeah, so dial up the fun means increase the fun, but it also could mean call the fun. After all, this is a telephone game.
Can you dial down the noise? I'm trying to read here.
Exactly.
Turn down the sound. Okay. Everyone, to play broken telephone, everyone sits in a circle and one person whispers a sentence to the person sitting next to them.
Or beside them.
Beside them. Very important that you say this or whisper quietly. You don't want others to hear, just the person next to you, the person you are whispering the sentence to. And what is it to whisper? Well, yeah, it's to speak very quietly and or very softly. So you're kind of talking like that because you don't want other people to hear you. You might be whispering if it's a secret and you don't want others to hear, or you might be whispering if you're in a place where talking loudly is really not okay. For example, please whisper if you need to talk during the movie. Yeah, people are watching the movie. They're trying to listen to the actors. They don't want to hear you, so if you need to talk, try to whisper or speak quietly and softly.
So the idea is person one has a sentence, maybe they thought of it or wrote it or got it from somewhere. They whisper it to the person beside them, and as the article says, that person then whispers it to the next person, and it continues around the circle.
Okay, so that's the idea. Now, of course, if you're whispering, you can't hear it quite as well. That might also make the game more fun. As the article says, when it finally goes around the circle, when it finally reaches the last person, that person announces the sentence to everyone. So they don't whisper it at the end, they announce it so everyone can hear. And that's what announce is. And the next word we have is announce. And as you can see there, this is a verb. And when you announce something, you are saying something in a loud and or serious way, or you're telling people something clearly or loudly. Basically, when you announce something, you're giving people information that they might need, and you're probably telling a group of people. This isn't a secret. This is something you want everyone to know. And when you announce something, what you are saying, that news that you are giving, is an announcement. So someone might make an announcement about what the company is doing or what will happen in school or in your class tomorrow. And it's important for everyone to know this. That's the idea. We're giving information that everyone would really be good or smart to listen to. When you announce that something for, well, you could say she announced that she'd given up smoking. Oh, she's kind of telling everyone this news, it's information, her friends, her family, maybe people who've been worried about her smoking over the years. Now she's telling everyone, hey everyone, here's some big news. Here's an announcement. I want to announce that I am going to quit smoking, or I've given up smoking, she announced. Well, good for her. That's an announcement all of her friends and family are probably happy to hear.
So that's how to play the game.
Okay.
But why play it? Well, we see errors tend to happen. People make mistakes. You only get one chance to hear the sentence. You can't say, what? Say that again. You can't do that in this game. So if you don't quite hear it, say what you think you heard. And as we see in the article, errors tend to happen. So the spoken sentence is sometimes very different and very funny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if I said, I want a hamburger and a milkshake, it might come out, I like lamb murder and silk pants.
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like that. Okay.
Which,
very interesting.
While is still true, it's not what was said originally. As we see, errors tend to happen. We use the phrasal verb tend to show that this thing often occurs. It's a frequent thing. It happens more often than not. That is the trend. It's the tendency. Tendency is the noun related to the phrasal verb tend to.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that is how you play broken telephone. You would sit there in a circle, passing these sentences. And now it's going to have to be quite a long, it's not going to be something short like, hi, my name is Pat.
No.
That's not going to be that good. But if I gave like a very long sentence with a few funny, unusual words,
right? Or words that might sound like other words, maybe?
Yeah, then it would come all the way around. And you usually get a big laugh when the person says it out loud. And then everyone's like, well, what did you hear? What did you hear?
Exactly.
How did you get from this?
I said this, but you heard that?
All
what's
the way to
going
this.
on?
Yeah, it's a good bit of fun. And you can do this with everyone standing in a line. You can do it in a circle.
Sure.
You can do it with, I've seen it with kids where they run across the side of the classroom to talk as well.
Oh, that's a good idea because they have more time to mix up the words.
Yeah,
maybe.
and they're running. Oh, I got.
What was the word?
Yeah, they'll forget stuff.
True.
So there are, like with a lot of these games, including Capture the Flag, there's a lot of variations. You just change the rules a little bit here, a little bit there, add something new. And that's what makes these games so fun, because you can just keep playing them, but in lots of different ways, adding lots of new ideas. So it's never the same game twice. And that's one of the big cool things about. That's why these childhood games, they may have been played for 40, 50, 80 years, but they're still fun today.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Ask your parents. They probably played some of these games themselves.
Indeed.
Maybe even your grandparents.
Exactly. But we'll have some more games to talk about tomorrow. Right now, we're going to go to today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
All right, so our chat question is kind of going back to what we talked about in the beginning part of our show today. What was your favorite game to play in elementary school? So we had Conquerors, that one where you're hitting the chestnuts against each other. That was a popular one. Were there others that you can kind of remember?
Well, when the weather was good and it was summer and we could go on the grass, it was just football, soccer in England.
Cricket,
soccer. Always soccer for us, small pitch. But when we had to stay on the concrete, we couldn't go on the grass because of the weather. We played a game called Wally or Waller, if you're speaking. Waller. Wall plus the letter Y.
Oh, Wally.
So the idea is everybody in the schools, like when you read out the names on the register every morning, so you've got an order, and you know the order of the names. Everybody knows it because it's also our birthday order.
Oh,
so
I see.
Oldest first.
Okay.
So starting with the oldest person, they have a ball, tennis ball. They throw it at the wall of the gym building.
Big blank wall.
Exactly.
No windows. Be careful. Yeah.
Then the next person, wherever that ball lands, the next person has to then pick it up and also throw it at the wall.
Okay.
But if they can't throw it and hit the wall when they throw, they are out.
I see.
So you're either trying to get it very far away or at a very difficult angle. So it's hard to throw and hit the wall.
Interesting.
Like, for example, if one guy throws it and it just hits the wall and lands down there, the next person picks it up, bang, really hard bounce. The ball flies over to the other side of the playground. Maybe the next person can't even reach the wall. It's just too
interesting.
far.
That's a fun game. We don't need a lot of equipment.
A ball, a wall,
play it
you're
almost
done.
anywhere.
Yeah, play that a lot.
Okay, and also it doesn't really matter if you're a big kid or a little kid, a fast kid, a slow kid.
It can, the sportier kids
obviously, but
stronger
it's
arms.
not like basketball where the short kids just can't really play. So that's interesting. That's a fun one. I think that would be a good one to try out. All you need is a tennis ball and a wall.
Yeah, very easy. Okay. Do you have one you want to quickly mention?
Oh, well, there was one that my dad used to play, and we've also played it as kids. And it's interesting. I've never heard of anyone else playing this game. It's not really a game. It's just a silly, fun activity. It's called Leg Up. And what you do is you have your street with your houses down the side, and all you need to do is walk in two groups to the end of the street. And the first team to see the car coming yells, leg up, and you all run back to the middle of the street. And if you can get to the middle of the street, lie down on your back with your legs sticking up in the air before the car passes, you're safe. There's not really a winner or loser. The fun part is looking at the driver of the car as they drive by. And there's 10 kids lying on the grass with their legs sticking up in the air.
I love it.
And then you get to see the driver drive by going, what the heck is going on here? That's why it was fun. But I've never heard of anyone else in any other place who ever played it. It came from Western Canada where my dad was born, I guess.
Okay, let's go out for a game now. Let's get a team together.
Sounds good.
All right, but we'll join us again tomorrow then, please, for second part of our article.
Sounds good.
We learn about some more childhood games.
Vocabulary Review. Mighty. The boy stood up to look tall and showed off his muscles, trying to look mighty. Capture. The army easily captured the city after the enemy king gave up and let them in. Jail. Robert was sent to jail after he was caught robbing rich people's homes. Fellow. Diana and her fellow dance team members were very nervous for their first performance. Whisper. Cameron whispered to his friends to hide when he heard his parents come home. Announce. Everyone cheered and clapped when Mary announced she was having a baby.
智慧小补帖
Have.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net